Welcome to the Hacked Off podcast. Make sure everybody's subscribed if you haven't already. Discord.gg/egohackers. And link trees are down below.
Yeah, just again, friendly reminder, go for the link trees because that is how you can connect with the hosts. I'm C.S. Joseph, and this is...
Yuri Skarzynski.
Yeah.
Also known as Skar on Discord.
On Discord.
Both of our link trees are down there in the description box.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I want to kick off the show with something weird that happened earlier today. So I was in the gym, right? And I was personality typing an ego hacker, okay? And it was BM Christie, our friendly modsy on the Ego Hackers Discord server. You know, and I was going through Type Grid 6 with him and psychoanalyzing him. And I was doing this at the same time that I was working out at the gym. I was doing leg extensions at the time, and I had to do leg curls immediately following. Then I go over, and I'm walking over to the leg extension, and I see this woman, and she's like very tiny. You know, she has the kind of thigh gap that, you know, you could put like a fist through, and it would still go all the way through. But the point is that this is a very tiny woman, okay? And she has a lot of shit just strewn about next to the leg curl machine, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. And I sit down in the machine that is directly across from her. And I'm like, okay, what type is she? And I'm like, okay, Type Grid 6. I'm like, oh, she's an INTJ. And then she makes eye contact with me because I'm directly across from her. And I could tell that she freaked out. And I'm like, okay, look at this. A subconscious developed judging female, INTJ woman, right? Getting all freaked out about some guy locking eyes with her at the gym. She's doing the whole INTJ woman thing where they're wearing a ball cap, you know, in the gym. She's got her braids. She's wearing a coat. She's trying to cover up as much as she can to make sure like no dude's checking her out or whatever. And it's like, lady, you're like one of the 3 women in this entire area because no one comes to the gym at this time of day or this day of the week. What do you expect is going to happen? You're going to try to get rid of all that attention? It was really awkward. So then she was there. I was just doing my workout. I was talking to Nathan Christie. Big whoop. Okay, Nathan Christie, fantastic fellow. You know, and all of a sudden, she pulls out her phone and she like is typing something on her phone, puts her phone away, and I'm like, oh, she probably texted somebody. So then all of a sudden, the subconscious developed dude comes walking over to her. And then he starts touching her or whatever. So clearly those two are intimate, right? I didn't see a wedding ring, but apparently those two are together. And I'm like, what is going on here? And he was working out on the other side of the gym when I saw him, but then he walks all the way clear across the gym to come over to her and I, because we're kind of like in this, not really a corner, but like this open area where the machines are way off to the side. It's like on the side of a wall. And he comes, you know, dead center in the gym, and he comes and walks over there, and he's just standing there. You know, after like there's like some kind of show of affection between the two of them. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Clearly you're together. Great. But she's all paranoid. She's all scared because like, oh my God, that guy, that Chase guy right there, you know, he's so creepy. I need my SD male girlfriend to come over and, you know, help me out with my, you know, I need a Hugbox. You know, so he was Mr. Jim Hugbox. He comes over, you know, he's hanging out, no problem. And I'm wondering to myself, is this guy actually going to do any working out while I'm here on the phone with Nathan Christie? And I'm like, no, he's not. He's just fucking mate guarding. What a fucking loser. Okay, so he's standing there, and I of course realize he's mate guarding. So I have no choice. And by the way, mate guarding, so that the audience understands, mate guarding is something subconscious developed men do. Unconscious developed men do not mate guard. Okay, so what is mate guarding? Mate guarding is the whole, you know, taking a photo with your girl, having the arm around her during a photo. You know, what a fucking loser. No. That's bullshit. You don't want to fucking do that. Mate guarding is also like this thing where it's like, oh, hey, let's, oh, hey, stop looking at my girl, bro. Or, oh, hey, and it's like, dude, no. That's the SD male perspective. Why? Because they have this stupid form of jealousy that they're always having to deal with. Some stupid ass fucking jealousy, possessiveness, and they're overly possessive of their pussy. Very overly possessive to the point where it's noxious, toxic, obnoxious, I guess. It's disgusting. And the women, the SDJ women, end up feeling smothered by their man, who may as well be their girlfriend at that point, doing the whole mate guarding thing. Because you know how women, when they're in groups and you try to approach one in the group and they're all like, oh, fuck you, you're this or that. They're guarding their fellow woman. Yeah. It's a female behavior.
He's like the fat girl of the girlfriend group, who's always the first one to shoot down the guys that approach the women that aren't her.
Yeah, exactly. Don't feel bad yelling in, by the way, on these. Don't feel bad at all. So
yeah, don't be the fat girl.
Don't be the fat girl. Yeah. So it gets worse, dude. It gets worse, much worse. So here I am watching this mate guarding bullshit because like an unconscious development, he's not going to mate guard. Here's the thing: when it comes to like my women in my life, like I'm just like, you're going to be smoking hot at all times. I don't care what fucking age you are. You're going to be smoking hot at all times. And if you are not able to pull the male gaze, you are not representing me properly. You're a shit woman at that point. Like if you have to hide your radiance, if you have to hide your beauty, then that's bullshit. But that's what SD men do. They make women hide their beauty. They fucking do it. It's so disgusting.
What about Muslims? Like they have all their women wear the burqa.
Yeah, they do.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's all SD crap. In fact, actually, there's an ego hacker woman in the community who is a Muslim. She's still a virgin, okay? And she's in her 30s. And she can't, she's struggling, getting suitors. And it's all because, and she's UD, but she's a quiet girl. She's lovely.
Yeah.
But the thing is that all the men that are available in her religion are subconscious developed cucks. And it's like, it's dismal. So she's just opted to I'd rather be alone then, because I can't get what I want. And on top of that, to make it worse, her own father is subconscious developed and projecting his subconscious developed self onto other men when trying to introduce her to those men. It is an absolute disgusting situation. I think it's reprehensible. Anyway, back to the gym. So I'm at the fucking gym, okay? And we're having fun at the gym or whatever. And I immediately launch into how shit SD men are with BM Christie on the phone, right in front of the mate guarding, subconscious developed male girlfriend, the girlfriend. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm talking about how, look at those strong, silent type men. They think they're so stoic. They think they're so strong. Actually, they're fucking weak. And I literally said that. They're fucking weak. I said that in the gym. They're fucking weak. And they are constantly avoiding confrontation. What a bunch of pussies. And the guy, he was standing there. And I was not paying any attention to him. Except in the corner of my eye, I could tell he got hella fucking red. Steam was coming out of that fuck's ears. And he got more upset and more upset, more upset. And then his girl gets off of the leg curl and then sits adjacent to me, right next to me, at the leg extension, at the other leg extension, because apparently there's two of them here. And she sits down there, and the man gets close, and I'm like, and I just keep going at it about how SD men are such shit, and how this man resembles every single remark out of my mouth. And I'm like, okay, all right, man, you gonna punch me? You gonna do it? Are you going to jail today? Do I get to put a subconscious developed fuck in jail today, even though I'm telling the truth about your behavior? Is that what's gonna happen? You piece of shit? Are you gonna do it in front of your woman? Because now your woman is basically shit testing you, because now she's sitting next to me in the fucking gym, and your ass is being embarrassed because I'm literally emasculating you in front of your own woman. What are you gonna fucking do about it? See what I'm saying? And it's just like, it was completely disgusting. But then, now part 3. I get out of the leg extension and I go back to her machine on, which was the lying leg curl, and I start doing that. And of course the lying leg curl, is directly across from where she's sitting. What does he do the second I change machines? He stops standing next to her because he's basically followed her over, standing next to her from one machine over to my machine.
Well, at least he's getting his steps in.
Apparently he's getting his steps in. He's standing there. And then when I go directly across and go back to the machine that she was at previously to continue my leg day, because I always warm up on leg extension, leg curl, just to protect my knees when I do the compound lifts. So she's there. What does he fucking do? There's a couch that is just adjacent to these machines, and he goes and he sits on the couch to take a little duck break. He's taking himself a little duck break over there. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's still like fuming, pissed. And he didn't say a goddamn word. He didn't say one fucking word. And I kept on going on and on about how weak SD men are. And his girl heard the whole thing. Oh my God. I'm sure that's going to be, an issue for them later. Like, holy shit. But I wanted to bring this up because it introduces the main theme of today's show, which is why men deserve less. Men deserve less. All right, so let's talk about why men deserve less. You got some comments?
Well, we got the other comments to go through first.
Oh, what
right?
comments?
We got from Saga.
Oh yeah, Saga.
On the last video, Saga of Saga 7, he says, here's a Bible verse for the SD men who complain about the burden of performance and stop growing. And he said, this will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater, and there I will bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth upon treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God. Luke 12:18, 21.
All right, so what does that mean? What that basically means is that you can store up as much security in life as you want. You can have your insurance policies, you can have your retirement, you can have money in the bank, you can have all of that. But what you folks don't realize, and what SD men especially do not understand, is that everything can and will be taken away from them at any moment. You have to understand, like if you're a man and you pass the rite of passage, you come to realize that no one's going to come in to save you. And another epiphany is that at any moment, everything you have can and will be taken away from you every single time. There is no way to get around it. No way at all. You're just fucked. And you have to realize is that as a man, you got to be prepared for having everything taken away from you. I've had everything taken away from me in my life 4 times. Okay, I've lost my home 4 times in my life. 4 times. Okay, like that ain't fun, but I figured it out. You know what do SD men do? They want their retirement plan. Like this is why the subconscious developed boomer society who were hanging out, being all groovy, as you said, in the 1960s, are literally running this country right now, and they're running it into the fucking ground. Especially since women are outnumbering the men who are actually voting, which is also a sign of like imminent collapse of the United States of America.
And outcompeting them in jobs, education.
Yes, jobs, educate. Like it's.
You could say that that's artificial. They're being propped up by that, but the men should still be able to outcompete them anyway. And yet they're not doing it.
They're not doing it. No, it's just. It's so pathetic, and this just illustrates an example as to why subconscious developed men are so pathetic, and they make up the majority. They're like 80% of men are subconscious developed men. And because they make up the majority, we literally could say men deserve less. Because it's the majority of men who deserve less. And it's so pathetic.
And yeah, women deserve less too, but where men lead, women follow.
Yeah.
That's what Myron Gaines is missing.
It is.
He pins it all on the women.
Yes.
And that's fine. I'm not going to invalidate his objectively true criticisms there.
Yes.
But where's the source? Where men lead, women follow. So let's talk about the actual origin of the problem and not just the effect of the cause.
Women are just computers, man, but men are programmers. That's really what it comes down to. And you can program women at the individual level, and you can program women at the societal level. Like, of course, this shit is going to happen. Of course, it's such bullshit. You know, then we have another comment, like, from that guy.
Yeah, let me pull that up. So, Ziz Aesthetic 2845. Sounds like
Ziz Aesthetic 2845.
Yeah, sounds like he might be a Looksmaxxer.
Is he a male bimbo?
Male bimbo. That's that
Oh my
leads us to
God.
our next topic. But his comment
yes,
is
the male bimbo.
talk about why you're against spinning plates. I didn't think we'd have to talk about that, but I guess we have to.
I guess
it's not obvious.
apparently increasing the degeneracy in the land is like is a good thing, right? Like, are you really? Spinning plates leads to fatherlessness. It leads to single mothers, okay? It leads to orphans. Spinning plates is fucking stupid, okay? Do not have sex with a woman unless you intend to keep her. Unless you intend on marrying her. Unless you intend on committing to her. Anything less than that, and you're a piece of shit. You're a complete piece of shit as a man. You are degenerate, okay? You're a degenerate. And if you just want to fuck all these girls without committing to them because they're not virgins, well then don't fuck them and make sure that they are alone so that they learn their lesson. Or do not let them procreate so that they do not pass on their degeneracy to their daughters. It's not hard. It's not hard. Spinning plates, like people talk about, you know, being a father versus a son, right? You encourage the son to fuck as many girls as possible, but you tell your daughter, okay, you know, only give up your virginity to the man that you're marrying. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's this issue there. Whereas what needs to actually be taught to sons is, like, go find yourself a virgin. Go find yourself many virgins. You know, like in the Bible, the parable of the 10 virgins, where Jesus gets to have fucking 10 virgins, but only 5 of them are ready, and the other 5 were not. So he leaves the other 5 that weren't ready behind and takes the 5 that were ready with him. Awesome. Okay? Yeah, for those of you that didn't know, the Bible is polygynous, by the way. If you have a problem with that, then you're fucking ignorant and you don't actually believe in the whole Bible. You only believe in a part of it, which makes you a fucking hypocrite. Okay? Come on. So, the bottom line is that, like, spinning plates, you end up being, you're abusing women, and then, here's the thing, the women that are okay to be spun as plates, those women are the ones who, without actual commitment, because that's what spinning a plate is, having a sexual relationship with a woman, multiple women, okay, without any actual commitment. That is what that is. I am not spinning plates when I marry multiple girls. I am not spinning plates. We are committed. I'm putting babies in them, and you know, they have endless vacation. They're at home. They're enjoying themselves, and they're serving me and each other and helping each other out with the children. Okay, like, what's wrong with that? That's not spinning plates. That's like the ideal.
That's keeping plates.
Oh, keeping plates. Yeah. We got to keep
spin
plates.
plates. Keep them.
Yeah.
Or don't touch them.
Yeah, or don't touch them.
If it's not your plate, don't touch it.
If it's not.
If you want it to be your plate, then keep it. It's that simple.
God bless you, sir. That's awesome.
You know what else is funny too? These red pillars make fun of women for assuming that because a guy has sex with them, that means commitment is on the table. And like, oh, these stupid women, they think just because we fuck them, that means we want to commit to them. It's like, no, that's their
female nature.
That's female nature.
That's their biology.
Yes.
They're supposed to act that way.
They weren't taught that.
No.
That's instinctual.
It's instinctual.
And it exists for a reason, and it's because we're right. And what they're doing is trying to subvert actual biology. That's why the red pill, the manosphere, it's unnatural.
It's completely unnatural.
Which brings us to our other point of Looksmaxxing and how that's unnatural as well.
The male bimbo.
The male bimbos who are looksmaxxing. That is not the male strategy. That's the female strategy.
Dude, when you explain to me the concept of the male bimbo, I mean...
They also call them himbos.
Himbos.
Himbos, yeah. I prefer male bimbo, though.
Male bimbo. I like that, too, but a himbo. I mean, like CK was, like, sitting there with us, and I was trying very hard not to, like, belly laugh and, like, throw off a bunch of superlatives in front of her. But, like, you know, because I have to have at least some kind of sense of propriety. But, like, I almost like if I was sitting somewhere, I probably would have fallen off laughing. It was so good. The male bimbo. I've never heard of this before. And so, like, so what are male bimbos? Like, what are they? Like, what's happening?
These are the guys who work out just so they can fill out a large t-shirt or an extra large t-shirt.
Or a padded shirt.
For their aesthetics, not for their strength, not for their function. Just so they can look a certain way. Peacocking.
They're peacocking.
They're peacocking with their physique, with their extra tight t-shirts. They'll even wear shirts that have padded muscle built into them.
Oh,
if they don't have actual muscle, they'll shortcut that too.
So, okay.
So there's levels to how pathetic
So the male bimbo is shortcutting basically everything in terms of their aesthetics.
It's like a spectrum of shortcutting. They might have real muscle, but it's just for show. And if they don't have that, then they put on the fake muscle t-shirts.
Weren't you telling me about those men who wear like those shoes that like increase their height? Some weird shit.
Yeah,
like
they wear height increasing inserts or like custom shoes that are designed to make them taller.
Oh God.
And their excuse is, oh well, women wear high heels, so I need to compete with women, you know, being taller than me or appearing taller than me, or other men being taller than me. So they're like, oh, we're justified because women are doing it too.
Well, what's
like,
the
okay, so behave just like a woman because women are doing something.
Yeah.
Women shouldn't be wearing high heels either.
No.
What are they? They have no business trying to be taller than a man. Just be your height. Be accepting of who you are.
Bro. Oh my God. I thought I was the only person on this planet that had that perspective. When I see women in high heels, I am instantly just like, ugh.
It's bad enough that the women are being fake with their push-up bras and high heels and all this shit.
Oh God, the push-up
The men are now doing it too.
God,
which is yet another sign of society falling apart. Men acting like women. And then we wonder where this transgenderism stuff comes from. We're already halfway there if you're looksmaxxing. These guys will even wear makeup.
Okay, yeah, so you saw on X how I posted that thing about Clavicular, and I retweeted somebody who was basically making the claim and used like AI to change Clavicular's face to show that he's going to slowly transition, right? You saw that.
Yeah, he started as a male to male transsexual. Now he's going to be male to female. That's the next step in the evolution of looksmaxxing.
Okay, so with this guy then, you were talking about another guy that looksmaxxes.
Yeah,
like
he calls himself androgenic.
Androgenic.
But people are now calling him estrogenic because he's a guy that wears wigs because he got a hair transplant.
Oh, God.
He's walking around in his wig, like people are pulling it off his head when he's live streaming. So now he's trying to double down. He's like, oh yeah, I wear a wig, like so what? And now he's wearing female wigs. He's walking around with makeup on.
You showed me a photo of this guy, and I was like, oh my God, like he's transitioning. Like he literally looks like
But he's doing it ironically, but that's how it starts. Like first it's just a joke.
Wow.
But then it's for real. Because they're already doing it before that with the looksmaxxing in general. So I don't believe that it's just a joke when they're already behaving like women to begin with.
They are, yeah, I agree.
They might rationalize it as, oh, this is just a joke. I'm doing it for a stream. This is for a funny video. But they're already wearing makeup. They're already wearing height increasing shoes. They're already trying to adopt the female strategy of looking better. And they look down on men who have other qualities. They call it jester maxing. If you have any charisma or you try to use your words, and women respond to words, men respond to looks. So that's kind of what you should be doing, but they use jester maxing as a pejorative. And I guess you can overdo it by being too needy and having the stink of death. That's different than just being charismatic and having actual social skills. It's like, no, it's not about that. It's about looking better. Like, stop trying to improve as a man and have a good vocabulary, be articulate. Don't be that. Just have a better jawline. Fake it if you have to. Get surgery. Put on height increasing shoes. Wear padded muscle shirts.
Instead of like, I don't know, doing OMAD 1 meal a day.
And here's how you know it's feminine, because they're not even doing this for the woman. They're doing it to mog other men. They call it mogging.
Mogging.
When you're outdoing another man. They think by putting on height increasing shoes and just standing next to men and having bigger muscles than them, that they are the superior man just by existing. And they're doing it primarily to mog other men. Which is more proof that it's female strategy, because why are you trying to appeal to men? Or compete solely with men for attention the way a woman would get attention, which is through her looks.
Ugh.
So they've abandoned the actual playing field of being a man, and they've wandered onto the woman's playing field, and they're trying to get attention from men.
Attention, yeah. So when you look at this psychologically, like what is actually happening to these fucks? Remember, all men are born implosive, and all women are born implosive. So women have to work hard. They need
They're
attention.
born explosive.
Huh?
You said implosive.
No.
The women are explosive and the men are implosive.
No. Everyone is born implosive.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah. Everyone's born implosive. Everybody. Here's the difference. When you look at girls, little girls, they need attention in order for their implosiveness, their UD, their quiet girl behavior, to be preserved. They'll get zero preservation. And then they will, if they don't get any attention, if little girls don't get attention, what happens is that their psyche will decay into subconscious development, okay? Versus SD males, all right? When they're given a lot of attention, and this happens all the time, you know, when their daddy was spinning plates and his mommy was a plate, and then all of a sudden he got that plate pregnant, but then that daddy walked away, and now she's a single mom because she didn't want to get an abortion. At least that, you know, the son ends up taking up all the attention of mommy, and even if she has more children, he's still going to get all of that attention anyway. And then as a result of a high amount of attention, he's going to remain implosive. Here's the thing. When you're a father and you have a child, you have a son, they need to be raised without attention. Sons need to be taught they have to earn attention and not just be given attention. You give girls attention, sons have to earn attention. And these men are looksmaxxing, literally, because when they got older and they're out of the house, mommy's not there anymore because they all have fucking mommy issues, all of them. They all have mommy issues, and they're looking for a mommy, right? So, but they wanna look good for mommy, right? And in the process, they're just trying to cultivate attention because they're trying to get all of the attention that they lost in their childhood. How many fucking times have we heard about subconscious developed men consistently always telling their bros or telling their family, telling their friends, oh, I wish I could just go back to my childhood. They all do that. Bitch, I don't want to go back to my fucking childhood. I want to keep growing. I want to keep building. I want to keep being a fucking king, a warrior, a magician, a lover. I want to be a complete man and not some little bitch that someone's got to sit on a fucking high chair and feed me because of my little fucking tyrannical bullshit nature. And that's what these fucking looksmaxxers are doing. These fucking male bimbos, as you said. Like what the fuck is this shit? Like, why is this a thing? I'm sorry, I have to ask that. Why is this a thing?
We can blame the red pill and the manosphere for that because they came up with the term of looks, money, and status.
Looks,
they're telling that,
money, and status.
And they're LMS. They're telling that to a bunch of men who have none of those. And what is the low-hanging fruit that the SD men always go for?
SD men,
path of least resistance is looks. Because they can't generate status and money out of thin air, so they go straight into looks.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. That's it. Like, actually, we saw a couple of SD men, low fruit fuckers, you know, earlier today walking around in the park. And here you go, you see this fucking tatted up fat bitch just walking around with her really fucking skinny SD male, Mr. Implosive, and she's all explosive. And of course, you know, she's starving for attention because, you know, she's fat. And fat women don't get attention, last I checked. That's why they gotta be fucking explosive all the time to try to cultivate attention.
Well, they care more about food than attention.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
They're so disgusting. And here we go, are seeing this fucking like SD male loser was some fucking fat tatted up chick, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so disgusting. Like, why the fuck should we even have to see this in public? Oh my god, is that man gonna put a baby in that? Oh my god, what the hell? Like, can we honestly do that? That's bullshit. Like, fuck that. So, like, this is an example of societal degeneracy. And this is why, you know, fucking Victoria's Secret got so much shit for, like, having fat girls as models and trying to, like, condition everyone. When everyone's like, give us back our real fucking Victoria's Secret angels and have an actual real fashion show with actual attractive women instead of this bullshit that we have to deal with. And it's been consistent over and over and over. So, anyway, there's also another point. Did you read The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene?
No.
Not that one? There's a seduction style in The Art of Seduction called the dandy. And all the dandy does is wear a bunch of different clothing and changes their look. But what they do is they add in the opposite sex's looks into their own. And they just basically become, what, androgenic? Is that what the...
Androgynous, yeah.
Androgynous?
Estrogenic.
Estrogenic? My God. And that's what the dandy is. That's all it is. But the dandy, in my opinion, is the most degenerate fucking seduction style that there actually is. Use the other 8, not that 9th one. That 9th one is degenerate. And then you're telling me something about Jester maxing? What is Jester maxing?
Well, let's pull up the actual definition.
All right, yeah.
Jester maxing is internet slang describing the act of using exaggerated humor, clownish antics, or a goofy zero-ego personality to garner attention or female validation. Well, that's the stink of death. But this next part is different. It says it's a performative strategy to compensate for perceived shortcomings in looks or status. By making oneself the entertaining centerpiece of social situations. So it's only because of perceived shortcomings in looks or status. So there it is again, the LMS.
Okay, so...
At no point do they mention anything to do with being an actual man.
No.
Which is not looks, money, and status.
No.
It might be status, but that comes from... That's not the origin
status
point.
Status is not the goal either.
That is the byproduct.
It's a byproduct of male behavior. Like...
They're chasing the byproducts and not the origin of what the byproduct should be, which is why they're being fake.
They're so fucking fake. So I guess what Jester maxing then to me would be is if you, according to the SD male bubble, you know, the red pill bubble, the SD male bullshit society, what that basically would be, in my opinion, is if you can't bring the looks, money, or status, the LMS to the table, at least be the bringer of the fun, right? Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is, but they also use that to shit on anyone who has charisma and who's not looksmaxing.
Okay, wow. So anyone who's not looksmaxing is automatically a jester, basically. That's what I'm hearing.
That's how they use it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this looksmaxer in my life who was telling me, oh, that you're exhibiting jester behavior. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about being a fucking jester. I don't give a shit about entertaining anyone. I'm just going to be my own fucking authentic self, and if you don't fucking accept it, then get over yourself or get the fuck away from me. Like, it's not my fucking problem. I'm going to do...
It's king, warrior, magician, lover, not LMS.
Yeah, not looks, money, or status. I mean, kings are great at getting money, and warriors are great at getting skills, and magicians are really great at getting knowledge and wisdom and creating miracles, and lover is really good about bringing the fun and all about enjoyment and finding what is enjoyable and making life more enjoyable for other people. But apparently these looksmaxers, I mean shit, man, we should live in a fucking society where everyone is looksmaxing, and then we could just be happy and proud about ourselves because everyone just looks so good, even though they have absolutely zero character, zero substance, and it's entirely just some bullshit looks thing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, holy shit, dude. And, like, these people are like, what, sacrificing, you said something like sacrificing personality for aesthetics. Something like that.
Well, they never had any personality.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they go for aesthetics in the absence of that.
Yeah, I was going to challenge that point because it's like, I don't think these people even have personality to begin with. And it's like they imagine themselves that they have a personality worth sacrificing. But I don't think that's going to work, like not even remotely. Okay, okay. So, and again, like we've already kind of somewhat discussed this. The reason why this keeps happening is because it's all about low effort, low hanging fruit. I guess the rite of passage is that fucking scary. Like actually. I guess it's that scary. I guess pain of life has to be avoided as much as possible. Like that's really what it comes down to, you know. Because here's the thing. Like I think that's what transgenderism is. I think that's what transsexuality actually is. It's just men.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
To an extreme.
And men avoiding the male burden of performance because women don't have to perform, but they don't want to have to deal with the stress of the performance.
So then performance is gesture maxing.
Yeah, performance, even though that is, in of its own right is bullshit. Like, it doesn't even, wow. Yeah, low hanging fruit. So what this ends up happening is, so when you and I see some dude like acting like this, like we end up in this situation where you and I would hold them accountable. But what are they going to do? What are they going to do when you and I hold them accountable?
Well, it reminds them of the father they never had. And it's like, why is this man criticizing me? They're really only able to be criticized by women.
Oh, God.
Because
yeah,
they'll
you're
accept
right.
the woman criticizing them because they want to stick around for the woman because they're afraid of losing her. They're afraid of...
And this is where you encourage the girls to nag, right?
well, they need to, a lot of times they nag the wrong way.
Yeah.
But in general, there's probably something to nag about if they are nagging.
Yeah.
It's just they have the wrong approach.
It's just...
But if a man was optimized in the king, warrior, magician archetypes, he wouldn't be nagged. And he would know that if he is being nagged, that it's unjustified nagging.
Yeah, he just...
But can any of these men who are being nagged by their women, can any of them truly say that they don't deserve it if they really think about it and they're honest with themselves?
But that would require them to have to actually put in some fucking work. And that's what these guys are doing. They're not working. They're not putting in any actual work. The Looksmaxxers are all about putting in the least effort
putting in
possible.
fake work.
Fake work, yeah. All right. And then, so then when that, like we know this guy, right? Like, he's not a Looksmaxxer, but he has the same kind of attitude, right? He doesn't pay his rent, and instead he spends someone else's money, a family member's money, to get expensive food, and then he's trying to like cook that food in an effort to do what? Like,
he's trying to emulate a housewife because he's insecure about his ability to contribute his half of the finances to his roommate. He quit his job on the first day because it was too gross for him to handle. And then lo and behold, he's short on the rent that month. So how does he compensate? By becoming a woman and doing shit around the house in an effort to compensate. It's like, no, how about you get a job immediately? How about you stand outside Home Depot and just try to get, a day, like some kind of just day work, some odd job. How come that's not an option?
Like,
go on Craigslist and do something.
Why isn't he on Indeed.com with a optimized LinkedIn that he could just get free version ChatGPT or Grok or whatever the fuck?
Or DoorDash. Anyone can do that in one day. Just set up an account.
Yeah.
And you're making money. There's no reason why he should be short on the rent.
It's just, it's unbelievable. You can really, literally apply for a job so quick. And here's the thing. When you're on Indeed.com, for example, you can apply to 60 jobs. Like, super fucking
If you don't have
quick.
a job, that is your job. 9 to 5
Exactly.
is you sit down and you're applying for jobs that entire time block every single day, 40 plus hours a week. Your job is finding a job.
That was my uncle. My uncle, like, let me have it so hard over that. And it's just it's so ridiculous. But my point is that, like, we've always talked about that Bible verse, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man to another, right? And we've seen that, we've done that, but the main issue is that when we actually go out to sharpen other men, and like if we were to like call out that guy, we'd just be treated like the pariah. He'd get the fucking mob together with their mob mentality and fucking lynch us, basically, for telling the truth. You know, it's like, do you honestly believe that Yuri men are actually going to stick around for this society? Do you think your soldier ants are going to stick around for this society? When all these fucking worker ants are like not even wanting to do any of the work? When they need to become soldier ants, because guess what? Like that Bible verse at the very beginning of this show, we're talking about how the day's going to come where your life is required of you, which basically means, hey, your life is going to be in danger one day. You better have the strength to be able to fight it and actually do it. And if you can't do that, it's going to be a big problem. So make sure you have it handled as much as you can, you know? So you said something about like wishing for less responsibility, right? Wishing for less responsibility. And when I look at SD men and I see them, you know, this is one of the biggest examples of why they deserve less. When I look at SD men from this perspective, you know, like this guy that we know, or they're trying to cultivate attention through this Looksmaxxing approach, but they're not willing to actually take responsibility for becoming the real fucking deal. They're not willing to do it. And when this ends up happening, the women, because all of the men are trying to cultivate all of the attention for themselves, the women don't have any attention left for them. So then they become subconscious developed. They become SDJ women. And then what happens is you have the SD men who don't go out and vote and do not get politically involved. And then you have the women that do go out and vote and they do get politically involved. But here's the problem. If women are the only ones voting, like, I saw an interview the other day. There's this guy from Africa. He was being interviewed by a United States news network out in Africa. And then he was making fun of, this African was making fun of this news anchor. It's like, oh, you let a woman run for president. Don't you know women are bad at leadership? The United States is over because of that. You know, we've had Hillary Clinton, we've had Kamala Harris now. Like, these people are terrible. Female presidents, female leaders, female voters, all of these different things that are happening ends up creating really bad situations, including the degeneracy of society. And then as a result, society becomes, obviously it's already gynocentric, but it becomes matriarchal. And when that happens, society itself will collapse. And here, it's so funny. You talk to white nationalists, you talk to white supremacists, you talk to these guys. Most of them are all subconscious developed anyway, okay? It's very rare you would find an unconscious developed person in there. And they're constantly talking about how, oh, hey, look at how great this society is. Oh, look at you know, St. Petersburg. Look at all this amazing architecture. Look at all these huge accomplishments and all these innovations. It comes from white people. It comes from white men, etc. Yet they're the ones who are selling themselves out to gynocentrism. They're the ones selling themselves out.
They're resting on the laurels of the UD men of previous generations.
Yes, exactly. They're resting on the laurels. And that's all SD men do, is resting on laurels. And that is what that Bible verse is actually calling out. It's like, fuck you for resting on your laurels. You should never rest on your laurels. I don't care if you're fucking 80 years old. There's no such thing as retirement. No such thing. There is no such thing as retirement. And it's like, oh, some guy's like, oh, I'm retired. And I'm like, oh, so you're an SD cuck. Great. Nice retirement you got there. There is no retirement. Maybe you should have had 20 children, so at least one of them would have actually given a shit about you enough to actually take care of you in your old age. Because that's how it's supposed to be, instead of, you know, you having fun in your fucking old folks' home.
And speaking of seeking out less responsibility, I had a guy tell me that he envies my lifestyle of being a bachelor. He's like, oh, well, you have this nice lake house and you get to wake up and do whatever you want. And he's a family man. He's got 2 young daughters, and he's telling me this. And I just can't believe what I'm hearing.
I was so upset.
And it's like, do you think I want to be a perpetual bachelor forever? Like, one, I'm not. I only, as of this year, I have been.
Yeah.
But that's not my goal.
No.
But he's acting like.
He's acting like it is your goal. Like, oh, hey man, at least you get to spin some plates. I wish I could spin plates like you. And I'm like, bitch.
I don't know if he wants to spin plates, but he wants less responsibility. He doesn't want to be
Yeah.
the man who's relied upon by his own family. Because that's the male burden of performance.
It's the male burden of performance.
And he's trying to shirk it by wishing or fantasizing about not having to do what he should be doing.
This man claims to be a Christian. Let me tell you something about the male burden of performance from the perspective of the Bible. The book of Genesis, and it's like chapter 3 specifically. And it goes, and God's pretty pissed off at Adam and Eve for what they did, for eating the fruit, whatnot, which sexuality is the fruit, by the way, folks, if you didn't know. And then he goes over and it's like, okay, Adam, cursed is the earth because of you, and it will produce thistles and thorns for you. It'll be really hard. And by the sweat of your brow and through your toil and your hard work, then you will eat of it. And then your reward after that is you will die. Okay? One curse. Okay? And then to the woman, your desire will be contrary to your husband, but he will still rule over you. And oh, by the way, I'm going to increase your childbearing pains as well. But the point is that is what the male burden of performance is. Increased childbearing pains, contrary to your husband. Guess what? A man has to perform better because of the conflict that a woman is going to bring in his life. Guess what? A man's going to have to perform better because the ground of the earth is literally cursed. You can't produce fruit without work. Whereas the earth before used to produce fruit without work. Doesn't anymore.
And he should want to perform.
Yeah, he should
you
want
should
to
enjoy
perform.
performing. And if you're not, that's a you problem.
It is. Because a really rich man, here's another one, another African story. I don't know why I'm doing African stories today, but there's a guy in Sudan, and he's the richest man in Sudan. And he was being interviewed by CNN or something. You can actually look this up on YouTube. Richest man. And they're like, well, how much money do you have that you're so rich? And he's like, money? Money? And he's like, I'll show you my riches. And he calls his whole family. And he's got 30 wives and so many children and tons of animals and all this. That is riches, folks. That is riches. Not this bullshit. Not this bullshit that this Looksmaxxing, As long as it looks good, right? As long as you look like you have six-pack abs, right?
Or even if you actually have it, so what?
Yeah.
Do you have abs because you want to look good, or do you have abs because you want a strong core?
Yeah,
you want to be healthy. How come that is never the idea? It's always the appearance and not the function.
Yeah, I don't Looksmaxx, but my favorite thing at the gym to do is do weighted chin-ups or weighted dips. I love that shit because no one does them. You never see them. All the Looksmaxxers at the gym, there's a shit ton of them. It's like Gym Central's Looksmaxx Central. They don't do that shit. They don't do that hard work. And I'm so glad I did. Do you know why? Because last summer, okay, I was in a lake. I was with CK, and she climbed on her own the top of this rock, and it was very high up. It was 30 feet high, and she climbed all the way to the top of it and jumped off of it into the water below. And then she's like, now you do it. And she challenged me. And I thought to myself, I don't have a single memory in my life where I'm actually strong enough to climb a rock that high. But I did. And it was easy. It was very easy. Thank God I had that strength. Thank God I invested in that instead of wearing, female wigs, everywhere I fucking went.
Padded muscle shirts.
Padded muscle shirts.
The male equivalent of a padded bra.
Yeah, the padded bra.
Except even more pathetic.
Or shapewear. Oh my God, shapewear.
I would love to catch one of these guys wearing a shirt like that and just poke the fake muscle and to say, you are completely fake and pathetic.
Yeah. But here's the problem. These guys, these Looksmaxxers, these male bimbos, right? They do it, for fear of rejection, right? It's fear of rejection. But here's the thing. They become UD. That fear of rejection turns into fear of being a creep. Oh, now I'm too strong. Now I'm too powerful. It's like in Dragon Ball Z when Goku comes back from being dead and he sees Chi-Chi for the first time and she runs into his arms and then he's picking her up and twirling her around and he throws her into the air, except he throws her in a mile into the air. And he's like, what? He's like, oh, I guess I don't know my own strength. Okay? That's the UD way. We don't know our own strength as unconscious developed men. And that's why we have to deal with fear of being a creep, because we all look dangerous, and it's because we are dangerous. That's the point. Because we're the dangerous soldier ants. And because without us, society ain't safe. And we're actually the safest men to be around. The SD man fucking male bimbos are not safe to be around at all. There's no safety. They're just trying to take advantage of you because they want to spin your plates, they want to spin your pussy, they want to get in, they want to get inside of you and then leave you because they're fucking fake. They're the true jesters, frankly. Like, it's so disgusting. You know, and even this guy, Dr. Hugbox, that we know. Good old Dr. Hugbox. He's doing the whole fat chick, tatted up, single mom, bullshit, whatever. But didn't he have a complaint about us? Or a complaint about me and a friend of mine? Like, or
yeah, you guys criticized him for valid reasons that he was not able to dispute. But his defense to that was, oh, well, I heard enough of that from my ex. She was constantly nagging me and giving me shit. I don't need to hear that from other men. That's what he said.
As iron sharpens iron, but he's got to reject that. So apparently, my friend and I, we're pariahs now. And he's actually gone out of his way to make us pariahs, talking a lot of shit about us behind our backs instead of like actually getting into our face. In fact, one time he was doing this and I walk into a fucking bar. What does he do? And you're sitting there and some other SD men are sitting at this table that you're at. And what does Dr. Hugbox do?
He stands up.
He stands up and leaves and then
he beelines it to the other side of the bar.
Yeah, he's got to get away from me because he's so fucking scared, you know. And I'm like, hey, you know, if I'm creeping out other men, yeah, that's fucking phenomenal.
He did that to you at the coffee shop. You saw him recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw him at the coffee shop.
He came in with a friend, right?
Yeah, I came with a
Which
friend.
means he's probably going to stick around. But
Yeah.
he saw you and decided to just get his coffee to go.
Got his coffee, he got it to go, and he fucking left. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, you little bitch. Because you can't handle some fucking confrontation.
And he'll probably
because you're
never
a
go back
shitbag.
to that coffee shop again.
God, I hope not. I hope he doesn't go back to that coffee shop. I like that coffee shop, and I especially like it with him not there.
Well, that's the easy part.
Yeah.
He'll be happy to oblige not being there.
Yeah. So what ends up happening, so let's, we've been identifying the problems. Let's like shift into the solution real quick. So
the part that the SD men never talk about.
They never talk about.
Because they don't have a solution.
They don't have a solution. Yeah, and the reality is cultivate attention without being needy for attention. Okay? And this we talked about in the last episode. It's the fucking Morgan Freeman model. Okay? The Morgan Freeman model. You have to let the women come to you. But here's the thing, gentlemen. I'm going to tell you a harsh truth right now. If you're a man, and you have a penis between your legs, like an actual man, okay? And you don't. I don't care if you're married, okay? I don't care if you're single. I don't care. But what you're a man and you don't got women initiating conversation with you and willing to talk to you on their own without you coming up to them, you're a fucking loser.
And Looksmaxxing is not going to change that.
Looksmaxxing
even if it does, you're just going to get the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah, exactly.
The male bimbo becomes the human dildo. And then the girls will be spinning your plates.
Yes.
Because these women behave like men.
do.
Because the men are behaving like women, the women are behaving like men.
Yes.
And they're using the men for casual sex.
Why do you
not
think
committing
development phase happens? Because that's how women spin plates. It's monkey branching. Literally. It's monkey branching.
Well, that's at least smarter than spinning plates because there's an actual strategy going on there.
Yeah.
Spinning plates is just, oh, well,
Retardation.
everything's degenerate, so I might as well be part of it myself.
Yeah, mental masturbation.
Because they don't have any
basically.
solutions, so let's just live in the filth and optimize for living in the filth instead of getting out of the filth.
Yeah.
Because that would require effort in becoming an actual man.
Yeah.
So let's just live in the filth and try to optimize like how much attention we get from other men who are pathetic and other women who are hoes.
Notice me, senpai, notice me. Except the senpai, aka the senior, happens to be the woman, and you're actually the fucking male loser. Like, it's so fucking disgusting.
Who are they Looksmaxxing for? They claim it's for the women, but it's for other men.
Yeah.
And even the women that it is for, they're the same hoes that they complain about. Like, oh, you girls are just a bunch of 304s, you have high body counts. And they turn around and go participate in the same exact lifestyle with them as if they hadn't just criticized it for that.
It's unmanaged polygyny. That's sexual strategy. That's like, it's absolute bullshit because like women only noticed 20% of men, right? Those are the UD men. Those are the men that they notice.
The plate collectors, not the plate spinners.
The plate collectors. Here's the thing though, UD men don't Looksmax. So, that's why the SD men are Looksmaxing. That's why we have all these fucking male bimbos because women don't even notice them. And they shouldn't. because they're a bunch of fucking worker ant losers.
Well, they see the
Like-
pretty woman being noticed, and they're like, I want to be noticed too. So let me just adopt her strategy for being noticed.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It is so gross. So then they're working real hard to get noticed with all their Looksmaxxing. They're being the male bimbo, and then the UD men are still getting like all of the attention from women anyway. I get attention constantly. I was walking around in public. I got like lots of compliments or whatever. I get tons of like attention just by standing there, you know. And they're like, "Oh my God, that guy's getting all the attention. He's really creepy." And it's like, "Yeah, bitch, I am creepy because I'm fucking dangerous. But guess what? Dangerous enough to save your life. So maybe you should be fucking grateful about it instead of ungrateful. Instead of just being some fucking loser." Okay? And it's just disgusting. It's so disgusting. People need to realize that, you know, the rich get rich and the poor are getting poorer. And that's how it is in the sexual marketplace. The reality of the situation is the more UDSF you are as a man, the women will come to you eventually on their own. They'll start fangirling over you. They'll start crushing on you. They will slide into your DMs. And if they're not sliding into your DMs, guys, you're a loser.
And then actually self-improve in that case, and
Yeah.
don't pretend to self-improve by adopting the female self-improvement strategy.
Exactly.
How about you do the male
the male
improvement
self-improvement
strategy?
strategy? Yeah.
Oh no, that requires effort. So if you don't want to be a unsharpened knife because you're afraid to have your knife sharpened, a male butter knife or male bimbo,
Yeah.
then you should embrace the male burden of performance
Yes.
instead of running away from it or trying to be a woman and optimize your looks the way a woman would.
This
You're on
is
the wrong journey entirely. Go
Yeah.
back to the fork in the road and be a man.
This is literally the source of transgenderism, dude. Like, literally. This whole concept. Like, this is why men deserve less. Because transgenderism exists literally because this exists. Because of men shirking the male burden of performance. Literally that. Versus, like, you know, why do you think, you know, because, like, we were talking about, we were supposed to talk about, but we didn't. And that was the dating apps thing. You know, like, when you look at the dating apps, why are men not having success on dating apps? Because they're all SD men who are going for the low-hanging fruit. They're all fucking losers. They're all shirking the male burden of performance, and they believe Looksmaxxing is going to get them more hits, more matches on a fucking dating app. Okay, and sure, the SD women they fall for it. The UD women don't even participate in dating apps unless they're absolutely, entirely and utterly, completely and utterly desperate. But they usually just do not participate. And that too is an interesting concept. But the bottom line is that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Because again, 5% of men are fucking all of the girls. Literally. 5% of all men are fucking all the girls. And, you know, Rollo Tomasi would like to think that, you know, he's among that 5%. Let me tell you something, folks. He sure as hell isn't. He's part of the 80% of men that women don't even notice. But he's just projecting because he's not aware of this concept.
Well, he's trying to Looksmax in his 60s.
That's right.
Doing steroids
Got his
and
steroids.
trying to look like a biker.
Look like a biker rock star kind of ish, maybe. With, I don't know why he wears that thing on his head.
Because he's insecure about his hair. He's got this gray,
needs
long, that's why people call him grandma, because he's got grandma hair.
Why doesn't he just shave it all off and be like bald and look bitchin', you know, that way? Like, I just don't, I literally don't get it. Like, wow. So the thing is that, like, you know, yeah, you could take the easy road. You can go for the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, you could be this Looksmaxxer who will end up transgender eventually, especially if you have toxoplasmosis. Enjoy your gender dysphoric fucking mental disorder.
Enjoy attracting only the women that are attracted to feminine traits as well.
Yeah.
And we'll expect you to behave like a woman in addition to looking like a woman, which you're already doing.
Oh, and then guess what? Because they don't respect you anyway, they're still going to divorce you by the time that they turn age 35 anyway, and then you're going to lose everything that you've worked for your whole life because you decided to depend on society instead of depending on your own manhood and depending on your creator. But hey, you know, you want to be worshiping society, committing idolatry with society, good. You go worship that Tower of Babel. While Yuri and I are going to stand on the other side of on the tower with a fucking wrecking ball, bringing it to the ground so that you have nothing to depend on. Because guess what, folks? You're all hacked off.
No one's going to save you.
No one's going to fucking save you, because we're going to take your fucking safety nets and pull that rug out from under you, and you're going to land hard on your ass. So that's the time when your life is going to be required of you, okay? So you better be prepared, and the best way for preparation is unconscious development. Pass the rite of passage. Stop trying to avoid pain. Actually have the male burden of performance. Actually do king, warrior, magician, lover. Get the fucking book. Understand what that fucking means.
Get on school.
And be a fucking man. Yeah, get on school. School.com/CS Joseph. SKOOL. Become a member. Get in on that shit right away. So, all right, are we good?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, folks, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.